Fantastic. We made it. All right. Thank you all for making it this afternoon. My name is Quincy. I'm a teammate of the Teaching and Learning Center here, which you see my colleagues are here joining me. So great to see all these friendly faces, some new ones too. So we're going to have a conversation about technology in the framework of TPACK and all sorts of good stuff. TPACK, who here's heard about it? Show of hands. Yeah, fantastic. Feel free to use the chat and come off mute. TPACK is really cool. And if you did show up or watch the recording of the previous two seminar series, Dr. Spear as well as Dr. French absolutely nailed it and provided a little bit of a background on that. And I'll just for a refresher in case of those who didn't make that session, but TPACK model, right? Great framework for understanding the skills needed for us to be academics, right? We come in with content expertise we've trained our whole life so far, not just on our current job, our current discipline, but probably a lot of other things that allow us to do what we do. And now we're here in an academic capacity, and our jobs are to help train the future of health science, health providers. And so we do that with pedagogical skills, right? As you can see here, that's the P. Basically, my interpretation is as being able to relay what's in your mind, in your hands, your skills to our students, the pedagogy. And then what we know in this digital age, sometimes called the 21st century, right? We have to do that with technology. In addition to those three skills, there are different intersections, and then there are different requirements of us here at AT Still. Besides being reflective, one of the things that we do to be reflective is we do research, right? To be able to close this out. We're going to talk more about that in a second. But in the chat, you should see some resources here about TPACK model. There's an outstanding body of literature about what this means and some evidence-based practices that support this model. And another reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you haven't noticed already, the TLC is basically built on this foundation of the TPACK model, the well-rounded, very fluent educator. And you might recognize this because of the Level Up program, which we offer, which is various levels that can be completed at any order, at any time, that support you to be able to enhance your skills in that same intentional way, from pedagogy, technology, research, and reflection. Today, we're going to focus on two of those categories, the intersection between Level Up, the technology, which is the theme of this quarter's seminar series, and research. We think those two things are very harmonious. And we're going to talk about some tools that might help you if you haven't already been introduced to them, or tools like these that I'm going to show you. Fantastic. All right, so keep the questions coming. If you have any on the chat, we have folks taking good care of you on there. And feel free to come off mute at any time if you have a question or comment. So research, whoa. Does that mean finding things on Amazon? What does it mean to do research? Why do we do research at AT Still?
To find evidence-based practices.
Evidence-based practices, love that, absolutely. What else?
We are curious.
To be curious, love that. Yeah, what else?
To keep up with current knowledge and trends.
Love that. Thanks, Benjamin.
It supports our students' experience.
And then who do our students support?
Their patients.
Boom, absolutely. Killed it. Absolutely spot on with your contributions and your interpretations of why we do this. I think all things that we said and more together are why we do research at this university. The process in a nutshell, this is what the Teaching and Learning Center emphasizes is a 7-step process, seven-ish steps. Give or take, depending on the type of research, the flavor, the brand of research you're doing. This kind of sums up how you might approach a research project. Big or small, big experiments, literature review, systematic review, or an abstract of a conference presentation, whatever the case may be. These are some of the activities that you might engage in to be able to do so. For today, we're only going to focus, because I only have 30 minutes with you, I'm only going to focus on a couple tools, 3 or so, and they're going to mostly be attached to those main steps that I think that are kind of crucial, and if done right, could really speed up your research process. The literature review, and then the paper writing process, the dissemination of the results. So before I jump over into a different screen here to show you, any questions so far? Any questions about that research process? Okay, I'll keep it moving then. So probably you recognize this, the all-impressive A.T. Still Memorial Library website. We've all been here, we hope. We got our students here a lot. And we have an amazing thing that I'm just going to point out just briefly, is in the middle here. We have an ability to search for literature, find articles related to research that we're trying to do. No matter where we are in the phase, I'm just going to simulate the idea of, hey, we're looking for a research study. We're looking for studies in a particular area. And so we could do things here. We can type in search terms. Let's just say we kind of know what we're looking for. We might put in search terms. We might even put in a specific article if we're aware of it. And then we have several other options here, databases that we can search based on what it is that we're searching for. There's some really cool things. There are other resources besides the TLC and the seminar series, so I'm going to skip them. But if you have questions about them, I'd be happy to share or guide you to the library. But I'm just going to show you really quick. If you go to the databases option, one of my favorite tools to use when conducting a literature review is the good old Google Scholar database. This has come a long way. In fact, I recently read in the last few months about a comparison of Google Scholar, the magnitude of the articles that they offer, as well as the accuracy of them and the accessibility. That has been a limitation of Google Scholar by a lot of savvy scholars who have said, this isn't real research, this is going to Google and finding things. But I think that's changing. I think thanks to Google, in parts, they're doing a better job of increasing their impact. Still have a ways to go, but if you're looking for something, this might not be the bad place to take a spot at it. But this is a good time of any to ask for participation from the crowd here. So to just do a live demo, can somebody maybe suggest something, a search term that I should look for related to something that you're working on or something you might be aware of? Maybe there's a learning theory, maybe there's a term that you're interested in. Can I get somebody to shout out something to search for?
Social determinants of health.
I had a premonition that Dr. Teacher was gonna do that. That's awesome. Social determinants of health. Absolutely. Let's do it. So you will be checking my work here, but here is the search results for this term. Very powerful, very important search criteria here. We won't go into the details. There's different ways to find different things, but let's just assume that we want to see, we're at the literature review phase, part of the phase where we want to get to the root of this term and this idea to be able to connect our research idea to it. And I call it the seminal study. Let's try to see if we can find what we think is the seminal study to be able to understand where we are in our literature search. What has been done, what needs to be done, and what is the gap? And then where does my idea fit into this idea, this domain? Excuse me. So let's just say we come here for the first time and we're like, okay, I want to find that seminal study. And Dr. Beecher, you might even have that on your fingertips to be able to throw right out there because you've been in this space for so long and are expert at this already. But a couple of things that I'm going to look at here in Google Scholar, if you haven't already, is I'm going to take a look at things like, what is the source? Is it a journal article? Is it a book chapter? Is it a conference presentation? If it's a journal article, do I know anything about the journal article? Is it peer reviewed? Does it have a high impact factor? And then I'm going to probably take a look at things like how many times it's been cited. I find this very reliable at understanding the maturity of an article, or maybe how close to the center of the issue am I getting. That's pretty good. 2977 is a sizable number of citations. It's not everything, but it's something. And then I'm going to take a look at things like the date. Social determinants, it has been around for a little while. It is regaining momentum at this day and age. So there could be two things happening where there's something that has happened in the past where I want to connect to. There could be something happening currently that I want to connect to. But 2011, that feels about right based on what I know. We got a book chapter here. And then another thing that I'm taking a look at that I was talking about accessibility, oftentimes we have to go through the library. Sometimes we have to get to the article, we have to go through interlibrary loan. We have a really powerful library. Not only do we have access to a lot, if we don't, they're very fast about getting us access to journal articles by interlibrary loans. Say that fast, ILLs, right? But here on the right-hand side, hopefully this is where you'll recognize it, PDF. Anytime that you have access to it with almost 100% certainty, if it's linked here, you'll notice some of these do not have links. That tells me I could probably see the article or the publication, whatever it is. Not always, sometimes it's behind a paywall, these type of things, but there's a good chance if I click on this, I'm going to be able to see it. So Dr. Vicha, is there anything here that I should click on that's getting your attention? We got a book chapter here. Yeah,
I had to pull it
Navarro.
up on mine my computer because it was small.
Oh,
The
sorry.
social determinants, you're fine. It's my computer, not you. The social determinants of health, the book by Merrimont is good, but the Braveman article is one that's been used a lot. And then the World Health Organization also good.
I'm gonna grab this one, and voila, I have access to it. A part of it. Oh no, it looks like I got all access to it, right? So here's an article by Braveman about this topic. And so now I get to read it over, I get to make sense of it and say, okay, I'm onto something. And if you're fortunate and this is your topic, you got Dr. Teacher Actors, he can confirm this for you. You're ahead of the game. But let's just say, all right, I'm into this article. I think this is related to my research one way or another. And now I want to know where I'm at. Like, where am I at in my literature review? How much do I have an understanding of what's currently happening related to my idea of the problem that I'm trying to solve? Next up, I'm going to introduce you to the tool called Connected Papers. Show of hands, feel free to use the chat or the nonverbal communication. Show of hands if you've ever used PaperPal, anybody? Or excuse me, Connected Papers, anybody? Okay, a few folks. Okay. It's relatively new. I stumbled upon this not too long ago. It caught my attention because not because it's going to find articles for you necessarily. I think where I find the most value to this is maybe I found a few articles and now I want to see where I'm situated, where the problem is, what are trends, what is happening, what are themes among the literature in this area. I can quickly visually see some things that I can make some pretty snap judgments. So let me show you what that looks like. So based on this Braveman article, which we think is a big deal related to our issue, making that assumption for a second, I'm going to go ahead and type this in, and I'm going to ask it to build a graph for me. So basically, this is going to take a look at the article, and it's going to create a visual map, almost like a cloud map, neural network of what the relationship is of this study related to other studies in this area. So here we are again. Here's that article that we just asked it to look for. Yep, checking some details, highly cited. Can confirm that. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And here goes the magic. I'll show my hands. I'm not doing anything magician right now today. I feel like a little bit. Penn and Teller, watch out. Voila. All right. What do we notice? Kim, were you going to say something here? Anything jump out to you?
Yeah, I mean, it jumps out to me that there's separate areas. So I don't know what that means yet, but you're going to tell us, right?
Absolutely. Maybe we'll get Dr. Picha KLC to tell us, but no. So a couple things to notice. Yep. So there's the article in the middle, somewhat in the middle of our screen anyway, and quite a sizable circle with a couple smaller ones nearby. So what that to me is telling me, based on what I know from Google's Scholar, as well as what have been found out here today. So Braveman is part of a seminal study. We're going to diagnose what that really means, but there's some things around it. It's probably heavily cited. So it's a larger circle. And then if you look at this as a whole, It's kind of in the middle, but there are some pockets. So I'm probably getting to the center of this. And then there's some relationships between some other things. And just like you said, Kim, there's something happening over here. Now, I will say before I can figure out what is happening over there, is that if there was one over there, and maybe it was just a small dot, that might be an outlier or something that is barely connected to what I'm trying to study. And for us as researchers, you might back off that, right? You might go, oh, there's something way out there. That probably isn't where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to stay more so in the middle, but there's something over here, and maybe this is connected to you. So you might start pulling these articles to try to get a sense of what the theme is and the relationship is. Were you going to add something to it? Or were you going to ask?
If you hover over it like you were doing, it kind of pulls it up to the side, right? Kind of, is that kind of what it's doing as you hover over it? So as you move to each
Yes.
circle, it shows you what article you're looking at or what study you're looking at, right? So,
Exactly.
so Wolf down there at the bottom, Wolf 2011, it's a little bit further away. So is it showing relationships like that have similarities or things that follow the same pattern or the same ideas? Is that what this is showing us? Like all these articles are kind of more along the determinants of Braveman, which is what we're looking at, right? Braveman
Correct.
2011. And those ones up in
And
the corner may have some similarities, but they have similarities with each other more than they do with Braveman, maybe, right? Is that what you're saying?
correct. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Well stated. Absolutely. So exactly. So to me, the big takeaway here before we move on to the next tool is that this is a great way to visually and almost immediately guide what your next course of action might be. The question when thinking about literature reviews is how many studies should I review? Right? All of them. That's ridiculous, right? We only have a certain amount of time, but we need to know what has been done. What is the gap that your study, your area of research potentially will address?
Can I
And
make
I
one more
think,
comment too? Can I
of
make one more
course, yeah,
comment?
please jump in. Yeah,
In this big group, a lot of them are by Braveman. So the fact, I mean, his point of view or his or her point of view, he or she has done so many studies, right? And they kind of all fit the same premise, right? So you kind of have to look at that too, right? Because, and Wolf
absolutely.
too, there's another one by Wolf. So these people are thinking this way. And so maybe it holds a little less credibility in a way. I mean, he's done a lot of studies, but they're all by the same guy. Am I on the right page kind of, or does that matter?
I think so. Absolutely. These are things that I would check. So if I was new to this area, which I am, these are things I'd want to check. So for instance, I would look at why are there two publications from Braidman in the same year? Is it two conference presentations, two journal articles that are the same study if it's an experiment, or is there something else happening? At the same time, it gives me a lot of confidence that I'm stumbling upon the person that might be leading the way in informing this topic, this theme, this theory. So it doesn't scare me, but I'm going to definitely do some digging to figure this out because what I'm also looking at too, and this isn't the primary purpose, but the dates here are telling me something too. And outside of the scope of this session, the data, how knowledge it converges and diverges, and it's converging right around the 2010 to 2015, and then it diverges again. And if you look at the dates over here, we've got earlier dates. And then if you look at the big picture, we've got older dates, we got newer dates. So there's something happening we're agreeing and we're going away. We're agreeing and we're going away. And that to me fits with the topic. So there's a lot to be processed here. Beatrice. No? Okay. All right, I'm going to keep moving here and open it up for questions in just a second. My next tool, hopefully you got a firm grasp of paper of connect the papers. Another paper titled topic is paper pile. All right, if you've spent any time with me on a bus, in a cube, I'm going to bring up paper piles, some form or fashion. I'm a huge fan of this. This is the reference manager. Why I stumbled upon it is because it works well. It works nicely with Google Docs as opposed to other word processors. But now it has expanded where it works equally as well with Word, so you get to pick your tool to, how you want to use this. But here's the dashboard. Here's my account. And let's just say I just want to show you a few things. Here on the left are folders to organize my papers as I bring them in because I want to use them as part of my research. You can also annotate them. Each article, you have the potential to add a PDF. You can annotate a PDF and then it will store it for you. You can do things, and then you can do things within them to format them in a certain way so that you can have access to the citation, all that fun stuff. And then a couple things you can do is you can create a folder. So just for fun, TPACK demo, you can create a folder. And then if I find that folder again, here it is. I have one already created. I could do several things here. I can create subfolders because maybe there might be sub themes, instrumentation, experimentation, these type of things. And I can even share this folder so that if I wanted to work with you and collaborate with you, any folder, any articles that I have here and any annotations I've made, you all also have access to. Which is very, very powerful for my folks that engage in systematic reviews. They are the potential to code in a workflow. If you work with Covenants or REDCap, it will connect very well with those tools as well. Plays nice with a lot of different tools there. And then if you find an article, you can upload it if you have it locally on your computer. If you don't have it locally, you can create it manually. Maybe you just want the reference. There's an appropriateness for that where you don't have the actual access to the article, but you still want to cite it. And then it's getting pretty good where you can actually search for it. So like maybe, Braveman's out there, 2011. You can't find it anywhere, Google Scholar, a WorldCat. You could come here, you can maybe search for it and find some luck this way to add it to your library. But let me show you the real magic. So let's say now we're ready for our paper writing, whether it's proposal phase, an abstract for a conference, or maybe we're ready to finalize our manuscript for journal submission. Here's our manuscript, top to bottom. We've collected some data, we're ready to do some cool stuff. Here's a fun thing to do. I know what reference I want to put in here. I'm going to come here and I've already installed the extension, so it's plugged in here. So I've got the P for paper file. I click on that, it's going to open a window, and then I'm going to say Braveman. Let's see what shows up. Oh. I'll do this instead. I'm just going to do TPACK for effect. All right. So there's an article. I want to click on it. It shows up because I have it in my library. I click on it. There's the article, add citation. No hands, it appears. All right. A couple things you can do here is that you can set up multiple articles and it will keep track of that for me. So say there's a couple articles here that I care about. You could do as many as you need. And then it's going to do some of the handiwork for you where it's going to put them in order for you based on date and alphabetical order. It's going to do that for you already. And then another cool thing you can do is that I typically work with educational research journals. APA 7th edition is usually the preference, but you can actually choose whatever citation that you format that you would prefer for that journal. It will do it for you automatically. It will make the adjustment for you. However, I haven't found one that's missing, and if it is missing, oftentimes you can just upload it and it will recognize it. So you can do that. But here's my last part of my demo here. Yeah, and no, very close. I'll come back to that, Benjamin. That's a good question. So there you see everything's right there. But then let's say now it's time. I've made my additions. So now I'm going to come here and now I'm going to format my presentation or my citations. It's usually at the bottom. It's going to do this on its own. And you can see my hand, so I'm not doing any magic. And there it is. It has automatically inserted the citations that I asked it to include in the body of the paper. And one of my favorite things, because it's going to automatically format it in a way that I want. One of my favorite things too is that we always are making revisions, we're always making additions. And so the last thing that I do before I ever prepare my manuscript to be submitted is I go ahead and refresh the references. Back in the day, between the library and now, back in junior high or high school, is you would literally have to take a highlighter and like print it out and like check every single reference. There's no longer a need to do that, right? So now it will pretty reliably only include the references that you tell it that you have cited within the paper, saving you a lot of time and a lot of detailed work that can be very, very tedious, saving your cognitive bandwidth to do this stuff. So this works with Google Drive. I like this, that it works with Google Drive, because oftentimes we're doing research collaboratively. If there's an article that you found that you included in the paper, if you're collaborating with somebody else and you've added them to the folder, they now have access to that same paper. You don't have to find it multiple times because there's 2 people, 3 people, 10 people, which could be arduous in itself. Everyone gets access to it. And then if I make a change to this manuscript or the next person makes a change to this manuscript, it automatically updates once I click to format the citations. It will make that change. So it isn't going to be up to the same person who put the article in there. It's going to update on its own. I totally agree with you. This is awesome. And again, I'm agnostic on Google Drive or Word, but in the meantime, it works with both now. All right, fantastic. Yes, there is a cost. Great point. You're setting up well. So PaperPal costs $2.99 for per month. You can get a discount, an academic discount, if you buy it for the year. I think it comes out to about $100. And then they do offer a 30-day free trial. There are a couple caveats that I would offer. It only, if you, whatever email you attach to it will be permanent. If you don't care about using different emails and then losing access to your account and then starting over, no big deal. But like for instance, my PaperPal account, I have it to my Gmail because no matter what I'm doing, I know I'll reliably have access to it. I've been using PaperPal for 10 years. Yeah, and there are others out there. Mendeley is equally powerful. It's free. It's huge database, so you can have a lot of access to a lot of different articles. EndNote is out there. There are a lot of fantastic tools. Bookends, they're always changing and updating. But this is just one. At the end of the day, I just hope if you're considering one, there's an awesome link here that there's a shootout for you. But PaperPal is pretty cool too. All right, so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to get back to my slide deck to close up. So Google Scholar, great way to find articles out there, especially if you're early on in your literature review. You're just trying to find out what's out there, what's what. It's also very helpful to try to find true north. What are the key themes? What are the seminal studies that are informing this area that you're interested in? Simultaneously, once you start to get your arms around the idea, the topic, Connected Papers is an awesome tool to be able to visually, quickly find out where you are, how much you understand what has been done, what are the relationships between different areas of research, how close, how far, how concentrated they are. Connected Papers is awesome. For academics, there's a free account. I think it allows like 5 searches a day or a month or something like that. And then if you do need more, there is like an $8 a month version, not too shabby, especially if you turn it off and on. It's not too crazy. And then of course, PaperPal, $3 a month. There's a discount for academics if you buy for a year, and then you can do the free 30 days. Great resource management, reference management tool that works well with Google Drive if you're collaborating. But there are other tools out there like Mendeley. All right, so we're at time here, but I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording.